Hey there, welcome to your fun and fancy folds class. This is going to be a video that's going to go through all 5 of the cards on how to put them together. Fancy folds are so fun and they're actually a lot easier than they look. So I'm not going to do all the decorating and the DSP cutting and because that's all in your tutorial with your instructions. But I'm going to show you how to put together your skeleton of your fancy fold card. And then you can decorate it exactly as it is in the tutorial, but you also will have the ability then to recreate this fold in many different ways. So you're definitely going to need something of a scoring tool and a cutter when you're doing this. Let's go ahead and jump into your very first one, which will be this one. This was probably my favorite. It looked like the most difficult, but ended up being really, really simple. It is a fancy fold in the fact that all you do is you pull this little tab here and then look at how it opens. So fun. Even if they open up just regular, then it kind of pops out. And then obviously we decorated the inside. So each little bit has something. So it says blessed and grateful to know you. All right, so let's jump in. This one, we're going to do this for you in case you don't happen to have the layering squares, but I wanted to show you that it's going to use the layering squares framelits, and you're going to run it through the Big Shot so that it's flat. We positioned the square up towards the top, and then this piece comes out and that's just extra. But then that's going to give you your square there to be able to do the rest of your decorating. Next, you're going to need to cut your designer series paper 5 inches by 6 inches, and you're going to score it at 2 inches and 4 inches. And then that creates your really pretty accordion that goes on the inside. I just went ahead and I put adhesive down on the back piece of that accordion, and that's what's going to get glued to the inside here. You just want to make sure you have your accordion going the right way. So this piece here at the bottom, which you already have adhesive on, is going to get glued to the inside. And then that is how you make your fancy fold. Now the next part to this is then you take that exact same square that you need and you're going to put, I just actually went right in here and put adhesive right there. That's where you know where you need it, So then this just goes and it gets glued exactly back where you just cut it out. So it's really easy. Now the rest of it is all just the decorating. Because look, when you open it up, it's all set to go. So we cut a piece of white there, just 1/8 of an inch smaller. You are gonna cut a little 2-inch strip of that, the other paper there so that it's a pretty easy fit and it just kind of creates like a little bit of a pull. There you go. So that's your first one. See how easy that was? It seems like it was so tricky, but it's not. Okay, your second one is a very standard one, but still always one of my favorites because it has a belly band, and really all the decorating is on the belly band. So you don't necessarily have to, the card front is pretty simple. This is using my favorite pattern. I shouldn't say that because I have a couple favorites. I love this pattern too, but this is one of the prettiest patterns with a pretty peacock in there. And then when you open it up, head upside down. When you open it up, then you can decorate the inside if you would like to with your stamp set. So this one's really simple. I'm gonna tell you though, I don't do any scoring on this one. I try to get it perfect and I just can't. For this one, I use my grid paper. And our grid paper, Stampin' Up's grid paper, and if you don't have the grid paper, you can create your own ruler or you can try scoring. But when I score, I can never get it just perfect. But what I wanna do is I wanna find the middlemost point of my paper. So I can go, and this middle line here is the middle point of the paper. So I can take one side and measure at 4 1/4, and then the other side is at 4 1/4 too. So if you just have one side, just make sure it's at 4 1/4. Now I can take this and I can fold it right into that middle line perfectly, and use a bone folder. That it seems like it's lost up here, so I'll use my hand for now. And then do the same thing on the other side. Now this just meets that point perfectly. That is how Ronda Wade finds the perfect middle point of her card. and so I don't have to necessarily score. Now it'll be perfect. So I use my grid paper or a ruler to find the middle post point. And now there you go, you can decorate. I did wrap around a belly band, and so I just took, it's like a one inch strip there. And then I'm going to just take one piece and kind of wrap it around. And then I take some tear tape. When I'm doing fancy folds, I actually prefer to use tear tape quite a bit. And then, of course, you gotta put your designer series paper on there first, before you get to this step. But I just wanna show you how to make your skeleton. And then I'm going to, peel that off. I have a little thingy here, the bell paper piercing tool, and peel that off. And then you can, obviously, then this just folds over. So again, I don't really do any measuring or scoring on this, and this just folds over. And you can take your scissors and you can snip that off if you want to, because you don't need all that extra, and it's gonna get covered up by everything else. Then I took your Seaside Spray ribbon. But if you look at this, it is just all that neutral color, because you can flip it over. And so you don't have to necessarily have that Seaside Spray look. And then you're gonna go ahead and decorate. And then again, all those rules are in the tutorial. So there's your next one. That's a simple gate fold. This is what I did, oh my gosh, like forever ago, maybe 10, 12 years ago. And I was so kind of fun to make it fresh. But this one, it's fun, it opens up and then the sides come out. So, but when they get it in the mail, it just looks like a regular card. And then how fun that it does some really fun pieces. And all these papers are just so gorgeous together, so beautiful. So this one I'm gonna show you from scratch. You're going to take a piece of your paper, and you would normally cut this at 4 1/4. You want to take a 1/16 of an inch off. So it's actually 4 1, maybe once, it's a very tiny amount, not even an 1/8. It's like 1, 2, 3/16. So you want it, like here's my 4 1/4. I just go a smidge over, and that's what I cut this at. Because if you do right at 4 1/4, you're gonna have a real tough time getting this to line up perfectly down here. So then you also are going to need a piece that is 2 inches by 8 1/2. Let's see, so if I cut off 2 1/2, that should be 8 1/2, right? I think so. Okay, so you need a piece that's 2 by 8 1/2, and then you need your piece that's you're 11 by 4 3/16. It's really a smidge shorter than 4 1/4. Okay, so this one, the first thing I do is I score it in half. I need to find my halfway point. So that's my half mark. And also with thick cardstock, I kind of like to score anyway. And then you're going to cut off those 2 inches that you don't need the bottom of your card. And this you can use for scrap paper, for whatever you need to. It doesn't need it for this card. So now you're gonna go through and you're gonna put on your designer series paper here. But I wanna show you how I get this bottom almost like, it's like a window. I don't even, like shutters. I think this is called like a shutter card or something like that. So this one I am gonna score at 2 1/8 from both sides. So 2 1/8, 2 1/8, and 2 1/8. There you go. And then these just fold in and they fold in. See, now that matches perfectly, right? It matches up great. This is then, I would take my tear tape, and I would use tear tape for a lot of these folds. People are gonna be moving them and kind of using them a little bit. So I put just a little bit of tear tape down here. And then this will get glued down to the back of our card. The card just kind of nestles right in there. Then you get to decorate. It's so fun. This is To a Wild Rose is a beautiful, and this just gets, you'll see, it just fits in there perfectly and snugly, just the way you want it. and then these fold over perfect. If you try to do this without the cutting, you can try it, go ahead, but I never could get that to line up without a gap being there. And I didn't want a gap, I want it to reach this just perfect. So there you go, there's that. Here's the finish, so you can see it, make sure you see the video, and look how pretty it is once you decorate it. So you're gonna cut all your pieces of designer series paper. I love how some of this heirloom has patterns and some of it's not. So there's that, it's all ready for you to go ahead and decorate, but that's your skeleton for that one. Okay, what's next? Oh, this one is so simple, and I almost didn't put it in there because it's so simple, but it's actually one of my favorite cards, especially to do with just like my, we'll be making this tonight at my card class. It's that simple for people to follow, but it's really fun. So it is a really, to me, it's a fun fold, not so much fancy, but it's fun. So again, you're going to take a piece of, this was Sahara sand, and I want to find the halfway point, so I score it at 5.5. And then you're going to trim off, I'll tell you exactly what it is. You're going to trim off 3 inches off the front. Again, all those measurements are in your tutorial. And now it's time to, it goes this on this side. Now it's time to decorate. So you're gonna cut your designer series paper to go for next. And then your next step is to cut this flap. So this is 3 1/4 by 8.5, and you just score it at 4 1/4 so that it folds in half. And then you decorate. So here's, you put your designer series paper on first, and then this gets glued just right into the middle, and then this flap goes over, and then this one goes over. And look how easy that is. So there's your, I love easy ones. This is, to me, a fun one. You could do all the time, and it doesn't take a lot of extra effort or even a lot of extra cardstock. And then we're just went ahead and decorate again with some really nice coordinating paper out of that woven heirlooms. So there's that one. Okay, 4 down, 1 left to go. This one is definitely a super fun. It's like a tri-fold, and it has all these panels that open up. So this one says, blessed to be your friend. And then in here is where you could write all of your message. So super fun card. And again, let me show you how to put that together. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take a piece of, it requires a piece of 12 by 12 paper. And we cut it down to 5.5 for you. So you are going to score this at 4 1/4. Let me put my little arm out here. You are going to score this at 4 1/4, then at 7 1/4, and then at 10 1/4. Okay, so three score marks. That's it for the scoring part. The rest will be cutting your panels. Obviously this one you cut down to 4, this one's cut down to 2 3/4, and that one's cut down to 1.5. And I just chose 3 of the coordinating patterns of paper that weren't super busy. I really love this. These are, so you can tell I use them a lot to go with the paper. And then you can add some of your really pretty ones that have the patterns to it. So this one is obviously, this is the back of your card, and then you just make your accordion, and it just, that's it. Look at that. Now there's my skeleton. I mean, you're not quite done yet. You put your one paper here. This is the part that just real quick, I'll take a piece of my tear tape. Again, that's what I would recommend. And I just go down the one end with it. This end right here. You could use a smaller piece. I am lazy. I shouldn't say lazy, I'm always in a hurry. There you go. And then this just gets folded over there. So now your accordion is all together. Can you see how easy that was? So put your paper, and your paper, and then you're ready to decorate. One little tip I have for the decorating was I glued this one down first on the inside where I wanted it to go. And then this one I made sure I glued it down, it covered it. So it's just kind of cool how those, and then this is the smaller nested framelit, and this is the one that's the size larger. And then of course you're going to use put your rose there, or any, if you don't have the wild rose, you could use any flower you wanted to. And just a little piece of our seaside spray ribbon. All right, there you go, all of your cards. I truly love working with my friend Erica. I hope you enjoyed both of our classes, for those of you who took both. If you took both, don't forget we gave you this journal, and then you get to decorate how you want it to. And Erica and I both decorated them just to show you a sample. But inside is a perfect place for you maybe to keep like your passwords, for you just to keep it could be like a little quick to-do list. These can also tear out and you can give them to people. So it's a great little one that you could just keep in your purse with you. So that was our little bonus gift. But I hope that you love your cards. We loved working together, and of course Erica and I will be back again. We usually do a class together again in December. So we do it twice a year, once in August and then once in December. And then of course we do some other fun training things together as well. But enjoy your cards, have fun, get fancy, and you will wow your friends with these kind of folds when they open their cards.